Namaste, Namaskaram. There is considerable misunderstanding and confusion over the naming of Shruthis. The purpose of this video is to declutter all of this. This video is meant for all musical students, whether vocal or instrumental, as the principles are the same. The naming system most widely used globally is based on the Western equal temperament scale. Indian music is based on the just intonation scale. To know more about these systems, watch my earlier videos on how to use a Western tuner for Indian music for more details. However, nowadays, even in India, Shruthi boxes, tuner apps, and musical instruments use this global naming system. This is quite okay because it's used only for the purpose of setting the base sa, from which all other notes can be built using the just intonation system. In the past, the pitches for Indian instruments were not defined precisely. For example, if you purchase a Carnatic flute labeled as 2, it meant that the sa, the base sa, is somewhere around D, or 4.5 would mean that the sa was somewhere in the vicinity of F sharp. Nothing precise. Flute makers nowadays have become much more precise because they have in general adopted the global naming system, which is a very welcome development because it makes instruments match each other much better. The best way, perhaps, to explain this global naming system is to examine a piano keyboard. The piano has 88 keys spanning a range of over 7 octaves. There are 2 very important notes here to understand the naming system. In the middle of the keyboard is a key that is called middle C. Let us see what this sounds like and how it is measured with a tuner. You will see that the tuner measures this as C4 and that this has a frequency of just a little over 261 Hz or cycles per second. There are 3 octaves below this note, the lowest C being C1. There are also 3 octaves above, producing C5, C6, and C7. That is why this particular note is called middle C. In fact, there's one more C, the last key on the keyboard, C8. Let us look at the other important note here. This is 5 white keys away from middle C. This is the note A4 and is exactly equal to 440 Hz. Why is this note important? Because it sets the basis for all the other notes using the equal temperament scale formula. There are some countries that had a different standard of measurement. I don't know if that is still true. For example, Germany and Japan used A4 equals 445 and A4 equals 446 as their standard. What this means is that if you have a pitch pipe tuner made in Germany or Japan, they might not correspond with instruments tuned with A4 equals 440. Let us examine the pitch of a standard Hindustani bansuri, a standard concert Hindustani bansuri. The tuner measures the main sa as E4. The best way to describe this bansuri is to say that it is a E4 at A equals 440 bansuri. If the shruti was slightly less, you could describe it as E4 at A equals 435 or whatever standard best suits it. Similarly, a slightly higher shruti flute might be described as E4 at A equals 446. I referred this naming system as global. Unfortunately, just to confuse all of us, there are some important instrument makers that have a slightly different system of naming. Yamaha, for example, calls what is widely known as middle C as C3 and not C4. I hope this helps some of you to understand the standard Shruthi naming system. This channel is about providing you with some education and introducing new innovations to the flute and bansuri. If you like this video and want to see more like this, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.